Some dramatic action took place in the semifinal round of racing in Pro Stock Eliminator. Wally Booth defeated Ken Dondero, driving for Gap and Roush. Booth recording an 8:98 elapsed time at a speed of 143 miles an hour, but losing a motor in the process, and that may make it difficult for him to make it back to the finals. In the second half of the semifinals of Pro Stock, Dyno Don Nicholson continuing his march through the field at an 8.74 second elapsed time over a rare red light by Larry Lombardo, driving for Bill Grumpy Jenkins. The speed for Nicholson an astounding 157 miles an hour. Getting ready now for the semifinal round of Funny Car Eliminator. What a pair of matchups. Roger Lindemood and Color Me Gone against the defending champion Don the Snake Prudhomme, while Gordy Bonin, the Canadian, up against Texan Ray Beadle and the Blue Max. The first pair we see, Don Prudhomme in the near lane in the 77 Plymouth Arrow, Roger Lindemood, Color Me Gone. Frank's been down in the pits, and Don Prudhomme, invincible as he may be on the racetrack, is having problems with his health. It seems that Don has got the flu. Roger Lindemood, Color Me Gone. And Don Prudhomme jumping at the start, giving him a red light. Roger Lindemood, and look at the parts come out underneath Roger Lindemood's car. He explodes the motor on what would have been a very easy run for him. The oil smoke indicating a severely damaged engine. Prudhomme with a red light. As we said, he is sick with the flu and having problems, and I'm sure he just lost his concentration. So it's Roger Lindemood into the finals of Funny Car Eliminator, and there is Don Prudhomme holding his head and looking a bit under the weather. The Blue Max and Ray Beadle. A long, smoky burnout. Gatornationals are bust. They come from all over the country for this NHRA championship event. Some of the most crowd-pleasing, spectacular shows put on by the Funny Cars and their long, smoky burnouts. Gordy Bonin, 77 Firebird from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, against the Blue Max. Both cars into the staging beams. The winner into the finals against Roger Lindemood. Gordy Bonin losing traction, but he's backing out of the throttle, and he pulls away to take the win over the Blue Max. Jubilation on the Gordy Bonin crew. A great race in that semifinal round of Funny Car. Ray Beadle and Gordy Bonin putting Bonin and Roger Lindemood in the finals. Right now, it's time for Top Fuel Eliminator, semifinal round. Don Garlitz of Seffner, Florida, matched up against Arcanum, Ohio's Paul Longnecker. Pat Dakin up against the amazing Clayton Harris into the semis by the virtue of 2 red lights in the preceding rounds. The brand new car of G.L. Rupp and Pat Dakin getting pushed back as these cars not using reverse gears. They have no reverse in the transmission. Again, you can see those tires grow, and that's about the posture of the race car as it goes through the traps at 240 to 250 miles an hour. The crew pushing Pat Dakin back to the starting line. And it appears that Clayton Harris has shut off his engine. The unbelievable string of red lights by his opponents has finally run out. The severe stress on his engine parts, just a bit too much. Clayton Harris not making it to the starting line. It's Pat Dakin on the single run in the semi. 6.21 seconds his elapsed time. His speed 223 miles an hour as the dejected Clayton Harris being pushed back into the pits. Came a long ways on the mistakes of his competitor, Shirley Muldowney, in round 1. And in round number 2, Tom Kaiser with the red light. Don Garlitz against Paul Longnecker. The burnout's completed. The cars coming into the staging beams. Certainly the sentimental favorite here at Gainesville Raceway as the sun begins to fade. We told you the rains this morning delayed the start of eliminations quite some time, and the sun beginning to set. It's Don Garlitz pulling away from Paul Longnecker, and with an easy victory, Garlitz 6.13 second elapsed time at 232 miles an hour into the final. In the pits, Frank Farino.
Pat Dakin, we've come all the way down to the wire in a race that's been filled with a lot of problems, not the least of which has been the weather. And here it comes down to the Top Fuel finals. Pat Dakin and Don Garlitz, how do you feel?
Well, I feel good about going into it. The car's been performing quite well, and we haven't had any major problems with it, and we'll just give it our best shot. That's all we can do.
You know, Don becomes such a legendary favorite that when you go in, is there a psychological factor, or are you going in there just to win the race and not worrying about who's sitting in that next lane?
I'm going in purely to win the race. It doesn't matter who I'm racing against. People who try just a little too hard against him, the ones that mess up. I'm just going to do my own race and do the best I can. That's all I can do.
Pat, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Pat Dakin. Dave?
Thank you, Frank. We'll be back in just a moment with the exciting final round action from the Gator Nationals. A total of 8 Eliminator champions are crowned at NHRA National Championship events, and your Gator Nationals champions in sportsman category racing in stock Eliminator, Jerry Stein from Stanhope, New Jersey. In super stock, Richard Griffin from Gainesville, Georgia. Modified Eliminator, David Hutchins from Fairfield, Illinois. Competition, Dennis Ferrara from Comac, New York. And in Pro Comp, Dale Armstrong from Torrance, California. Pro Stock Eliminator, we told you Wally Booth had trouble on his semifinal run. He was unable to answer the call. 49-year-old Dino Don Nicholson from Atlanta, Georgia, your Pro Stock champion here at the Gator Nationals. His elapsed time, low ET of the meet, 8.64 seconds. His speed, 155 miles an hour. Right now, we're ready for the finals in Funny Car Eliminator. Roger Lindemood's been having lots of problems and working in the pits after blowing a motor in the semifinal round, but Gordy Bonin is ready to go. And to please the crowd, the 77 Firebird of Gordy Bonin. A long, smoky burnout as the flame standing tall off the headers of this nitro-burning 2,000 horsepower power plant. The gathering darkness, allowing the spectators to see what has to be some of the most dramatic sights in all of drag racing. Top Fuel dragsters and funny cars racing to where the flames that normally you can't see in the daylight hours, they stand tall on every run. See them as the darkness sets in. Again, the heavy rains this morning that blanketed the Gainesville area caused the start of eliminations to be delayed for over an hour, allowing the racing to end up here in the dusk or the twilight hours. Gordy Bonin on a single run as Roger Lindemood. You saw earlier the parts spewing out behind the car. Bonin with his share of problems, a lot of smoke, he just shuts it off, pulls the parachute. The engine shuts down and Bonin coasts through, your 1977 Gator Nationals champion. A tough break for Roger Lindemood. Went into the finals as Don Prudhomme with a rare red light, allowing Lindemood to go into the finals. Lindemood blowing an engine in the semifinal round, unable to repair Gordy Bonin with the single. As Gordy gets out of his car, let's go to Frank Farino.
Here he comes. Gordy, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that's not the way you'd like to win the thing, but you won it.
Yeah, that's true. We would have liked to race Prudhomme in the final. That would have been a heck of a race. We went top speed and low ET, but, he was getting his stuff together, and apparently he's, sick or something, and he just had a cockpit failure the semifinal.
Is there any way for accounting as to why sometimes you get out and you think everything's together and it's not, and then all of a sudden you show up one weekend and no problems at all?
There's a lot of luck involved, but, there's a lot of hard work. My guys have worked their heart out.
Paid off?
I'm telling you. Now we can keep racing. We made some money.
Gordy, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Gordy Bonin, funny car champion, 1977 Gator Nationals. Dave, back up to you.
Frank, thank you very much. As the darkness really begins to set in now, it is Top Fuel Eliminator final. Pat Dakin in GL Rupp's car and Don Garlitz. You can see the header flames standing very tall off of both these engines. Don Garlitz has got to be the sentimental favorite with this huge crowd on hand that very patiently waited through the thunderstorms this morning and through some great racing to reach this point for the finals. In super slow motion, you can see each individual cylinder firing at idle. And then the flames standing tall as the tires. in the burnout by Don Garlits. Garlits and Dakin, 2 cars remaining after 16 started eliminations here at the 77 Gatornationals. Both cars now approaching the starting line. Their burnouts completed. Pat Dakin in the far lane. In the near lane, Big Daddy himself, Don Garlits. Leaving the starting line together, Dakin beginning to drift across the track. Garlits straight through the quarter mile. 6 seconds flat. His speed, 243 miles an hour for Don Garlits. Here in slow motion, you'll see what happened. Right there, Pat Dakin, just momentarily varying from the straight path down that quarter mile, having to lift, and that was enough to allow Don Garlits to head to the win. 6 seconds flat, 243 miles an hour. Here's Frank once again.
Don Garlits, he did it. 6 flat, 233. He took a car out of the museum, they kept saying all weekend, to do it. Didn't seem to matter one bit. Let's let him get out of this. Don, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's been an exciting day.
It's been a day plagued by all kinds of troubles, the weather, mechanical problems, and yet they kept saying that you took this car out of the museum to come and run, and you didn't seem to have any problems at all with it.
Well, the car has responded tremendously. The engine's been running real well, and it is true, the car had been in the museum for 2 years.
In the meantime now, they're talking about Big Daddy coming out of retirement. Is it true?
Well, I'm here. What else can I say, right?
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. It's really been a nice day.
Don Garlits, 1977 Top Fuel champion at the Gatornationals. Back to you, Dave.
And our congratulations, too, to Don Garlits. We'll be back at the Gatornationals in just a moment. The 1977 NHRA Gatornationals into the record books. And the record books on this race will show that the 3 top winners in Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Pro Stock each received approximately $13,000 in cash and contingency awards out of a total purse posting of over $250,000. The racing, absolutely fantastic. The spectators, I think, were the winners at this race.
Oh,
right?
There's no question about it, Dave. As I said to Wally Parks, the president of the NHRA, these are the most loyal sports fans I've ever seen. That Sky this morning should have said to them, let's go, but they stayed, and it was worth it.
I'll tell you, the rains came this morning. It was like Lake Gainesville out throughout the raceway area. The delay in the start of eliminations caused the finals, in some cases, to be run in the twilight hours, but those loyal fans, as you say, stayed right there. You stayed most of the day in the pits, I think.
I had to, because a lot of the drivers spent a lot of time in the pits. Roger Lindemood, Clayton Harris, Wally Booth, all thrashing with their engines. Wally Booth, of course, trying to change engines before the finals. He didn't make it. Dino Don Nicholson into the finals in Pro Stock as the winner, the first time, I believe, since 1973, and I think he did it right here.
That's right. He won Pro Stock in 1973 here at the Gatornationals. But an interesting sidelight on Dino Don Nicholson is he's 49 years old. He won his first major NHRA championship in the year 1961 out of Pomona, California in the Winter Nationals in Top Stock Eliminator.
And how about Don Garlits?
Don Garlits drew a museum piece out of a museum he's building in Florida. It was actually the car that he won the World Championship with in 1975. He had retired it. Some damage to his 1977 car caused him to reenact it, bring it back, and sure enough, it took him right to the winner's circle.
49-year-old Don Nicholson, 45-year-old Don Garlits. Here come the senior citizens.
When we're talking about winners, I'll tell you the television viewers are also going to be the winners, Frank. We've got a new race added to the schedule.
Englishtown, New Jersey.
That's right, the Summer Nationals. The sequence follows this way. Diamond P Sports and NHRA present the Spring Nationals from Columbus, Ohio, then the Summer Nationals from Englishtown, and the World Finals from Ontario.
For now, I'm Frank Fiorino.
And I'm Dave McClelland. We hope you've enjoyed it, and see you in Columbus.
The NHRA Gatornationals has been brought to you by Fram, makers of oil, air, and gas filters, Fram windshield wipers, and Autolite spark plugs. By Cam 2 Motor Oil. You know it's tough, and you love it. And by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri. Brewers of Budweiser. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all. The executive producer of Diamond P Sports, Harvey Pallage. Our producers, Frank Farino and John Mullen. Directed by John Mullen. This has been an NHRA presentation, a Diamond Piece Sports production.